going on, everyone? So the Lakers are an absolute mess right now. They are currently out of the play-in entirely after losing to the Memphis Grizzlies. And Rob Pelinka is going to have a lot of work ahead of him, right? He's got to figure out what is he going to do with Darvin Ham. There's reports that came out that Darvin Ham could be on the hot seat. He could be potentially on his way out. But then we got a follow-up report that Jeannie Buss completely supports Darvin Ham. And even through the struggles, Darvin Ham still has like 3 more years on his contract. I personally don't think the Lakers are going to fire him this season. I don't think that there's a replacement the Lakers are looking at and going like, that's the guy, let's bring him in. So my guess is they ride it with Darvin Ham. But regardless, Rob Pelinka, he's going to have to figure that out. He's got to get the trade down, right? You got to find the right moves, and it's got to be the right moves that are good enough to make you a real contender, right? So you can start climbing the standings, and it needs to happen sooner rather than later. But another option that the Lakers have are the 10-day contracts. And there are some needs that the Lakers currently have that maybe a 10-day could help slightly. Obviously, no one out of a 10-day is going to come in and completely change the Lakers' fate currently. But you could get a guy that could come in that could make sense, that could offset some of the pieces that you maybe send out in a trade. Lakers definitely need a center, and that's where I want to start. I want to go over a handful of centers, kind of give my takes and opinions. Again, none of these guys are going to come in and be superstars, but they could be serviceable big men. So maybe Anthony Davis doesn't have to play, 40 minutes a game. Right? If you can get a quality big man to come in, play 10, 15 minutes, that's all you really need, especially come playoff time. And then maybe you don't have to go get one in a trade, right? I mean, if you have a handful of games to kind of test these guys out and you find that guy, it's like, oh man, this guy's having a real impact. Well, then it's one less piece that you need to trade. You can kind of shift the trade focus into other things. But anyway, I want to hear your thoughts and opinions as always, so let me know down in the comments. Also, be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let's get into it. So first one, and maybe my favorite option that's available, is Meyers Leonard. This is a guy that has legitimate 3-and-D. This is a guy that has good size that I think could come in and really, he to me has the biggest potential of having an impact, right? Like he to me has the biggest potential to come in and just give some real quality minutes. Again, you're not looking for a superstar. You're not going to get that. There's a reason that these guys are out for various reasons, right? There's a reason these guys don't have contracts. But Meyers Leonard is still young. He's only 31 years old. You're talking about a guy that's 7'1", with a 7'3" wingspan, so he's got good length, good size. But more than anything, he has the ability to stretch the floor also. So you could play him alongside pretty much anybody. You could have him and Christian Wood. You could have him and Anthony Davis. Gives you a big body. Like I said, he's 7'1", with a 260 body and size, right? So he's a guy that can bang down low. He's going to give you energy. He's going to give you quality minutes. He is also one of the few guys to play in the past year where a lot of the guys haven't played in several seasons, right? He had a little stint with Milwaukee last season and played in 9 games. He actually started 2 of them. He only averaged about 12.7 minutes per game, but he did shoot on 2 attempts per game, shot 39% from 3, right? And this is a guy who didn't play the previous year, who hadn't played since 2020, 2021. This is a guy that has a career from 3-point range of 39%. And he's had years where he shot like in the 40s. He had that stint with Portland in 2018, 2019, where he shot 45% on 2 attempts per game. Obviously, he's a center, so you don't want him taking a bunch of attempts per game. You don't want him taking 10 attempts per game. But this is a guy who's a career 48% just shot, isn't going to demand the ball, isn't going to need the ball a bunch. Right? This is a guy that can come in, give you, you're just looking for, can you give us, 5 to 7 points and, 4 to 6 rebounds per game. Right? Again, you're not asking him to come in and play 30 minutes a game. You're asking him to come in, play 10 to 15 minutes to just get AD some rest, go out there, play hard, play defense, bang with the opposing big man, rebound the basketball, You might get some spots alongside guys, but for the most part, help in the rebounding department and hit the occasional shot. Help stretch the floor a little bit, all of those things. Myers Leonard, in my opinion, would be the best option that is available out there, that is currently available out there, and I would love for the Lakers to give a 10-day. But moving on, Serge Ibaka. Now, Serge Ibaka, he's a guy that, he's not Ibaka anymore, right? He's not that guy anymore, but he's a guy that can play the 3 or play the 4 or the 5, right? So he gives you a little more flexibility. Technically, because Myers Leonard can shoot, I guess you could put him at the 4, but Serge Ibaka is a guy that legitimately is comfortable playing in the 4, playing in the 5 spot. He, again, did play last year also with Milwaukee in 16 games. And in that time, he averaged 11 and a half minutes, so basically 12 minutes. This is when Milwaukee was trying to find a big man. He did shoot 33% from 3, which isn't great, but he is a career 36% three-point shooter. He also only averaged 1.1 attempts last season. But again, just a guy to come in, play some defense, hold his own, rebound the basketball, again, give us 6 and 5, right? Maybe block the occasional shot. Obviously, again, he's not the same player he once was, but he is a veteran. He has experience. He's been there. He's done that. He's been in the playoffs, right? So he's a guy that you can trust and believe in spots. He's a guy that's been to a finals, right? Like, he's a guy that won a championship with the Raptors, right? Like, this is a guy that, again, like, it would be nice to have that kind of veteran presence, that stability. Right? You look at the other big men we have outside of Anthony Davis, it's like Christian Wood, who, yes, he's solid, but he doesn't really have the playoff experience. You have a guy in a Jackson Hayes who's been essentially unplayable in many ways, right? So you kind of bring in that veteran guy, that veteran presence, a guy that is going to play hard, is going to work hard. He is still only 34 years old. He does seem a lot older, but I don't know. It's something that I think he could make for a nice piece to kind of come in and kind of right the ship a little bit. But next up, Derek Favors, right? So Derek Favors he doesn't stretch the floor, and the defense is a bit of a concern, but he is a guy that you can just dump the ball down to and let him go to work, right? He's a little undersized. He's like 6'9", 6'10", 32 years old, but this is a guy who's 7'4" wingspan. He's got good size, good strength, right? This is a guy that, you could throw on opposing big men, and, he could kind of just be a big body. Again, never been really known as that defensive guy. So he's not a guy that's going to help in that department, but he's 265, right? So he's not like some small, skinny, scrawny guy. Like, he's got good weight behind him. He is one of the guys that hasn't played since the 2021-2022 season, in which he played 39 games for the Oklahoma City Thunder, played 18 games starting, 16.7 minutes per game. He shot 51.6% from the field. Again, not really a floor spacer, not somebody that's going to shoot the 3 ball, but he is a guy that can go and just get you a bucket. Right, he's a guy you can dump the ball down to. He can go to work in the post. The Lakers get stagnant a lot and don't really have, outside of Anthony Davis, that post presence. They do in Rui and Wood, but Darvin Ham loves to just put them out on the perimeter, where Derek Favors, you can't do that. So it gives you a guy that you're almost forced to keep down low, to dump the ball into in the post, and he can just go to work and just go get you a bucket. Right? Again, Give me 5 and 6, right? Or 6 and 5. He did that the year he played with Oklahoma City. Like I said, in 17 minutes a game, he gave you 5 points and 5 rebounds. That's perfect. Again, you don't need somebody to come in and be some monster center, right? Like, even if the Lakers go and trade for somebody, they're probably not going to come in and be some monster, right? Unless you get somebody like you get a Miles Turner or something like that, which I just don't see happening, right? So anybody that's coming in, more likely than not, they're just going to be playing a minimal role, right? So a guy like Derek Favors, I do think makes a lot of sense. Again, not really my favorite. but I do think he's a guy that could be relatively impactful. DeMarcus Cousins, right? Now, you want to talk about a guy that's got toughness, which the Lakers could use. You want to talk about a guy that is not afraid of anybody or the moment. He's that guy. He's familiar with the Lakers. He's still also only 33 years old. Obviously, the injury history is a concern and just his mental, right? Like, can he keep himself together and not pick up a bunch of techs and all kinds of stuff? But he's a guy that's got good size, good length, good strength, stretch the floor, shoot the three ball, right? He's a guy that can go get you a bucket for sure, get you some rebounding, bring you some toughness, right? Didn't play last year. Last stint was with Denver, and he was actually really good with Denver, which is interesting that they didn't bring him back because he was actually excellent for them. He played in 31 games, started 2, averaged 14 minutes a game. He, in that 14 minutes a game, he averaged 9 points and 6 rebounds, right? He also averaged 1.7 assists, basically a steal, rounded up to a steal and a block. Kid, it's all you need, right? Give me a guy that come out here, stretch the floor a little bit, knock down the occasional 3, rebound, be some toughness. You could throw him on Jokic, gives you a body. He's not afraid to commit a hard playoff foul, that's for sure, right? A guy that has that just edge and that toughness, veteran guy, somebody that people are going to respect. They're going to, he's a tough guy, right? Like you're not going to be talking back to him, right? You're going to listen to what he has to say. And the Lakers could use somebody like that, right? I think with Darvin Ham, because again, I do think that they keep Darvin Ham. Darvin Ham, I think, is a guy that would actually, I think, love a guy like DeMarcus Cousins, but also I think could, because however you feel about DeMarcus Cousins, again, he is however you feel about Darvin Ham, sorry, let me correct that. However you feel about Darvin Ham, he is definitely an excellent communicator and excellent at relating to players and being a player guy, right? DeMarcus Cousins could probably use somebody like that, right? A coach that can kind of right him and keep him on a good path. And I do think he's a guy that can make a real impact, personally. But last person I want to talk about is Hassan Whiteside. Like I said, there's not a ton of options out there. There's not like all these various big name players. Now, I know a lot of people, I don't have Dwight Howard on this list. I know some people are going to be like, why don't you have Dwight Howard on this list? Like, he just signed with the Philippines. Let him stay there. Dwight Howard's not the same guy he once was. He's not the Jokic stopper he was, 3-4 years ago. Jokic isn't the same guy he was back then. Dwight Howard, I think, would do more harm than good. But Hassan Whiteside, again, is a guy that hasn't played since 21-22 season, in which he played for the Utah Jazz, played in 65 games, started 8, played 18 minutes per game, doesn't spread the floor, but he's a guy that can go get you a bucket, be a lob threat, offensive rebounds, all that stuff. He averaged in that 18 minutes per game, 8 points and 8 rebounds. He also averaged 1.6 blocks and half a steal. Again, perfect. All we need. Right? He's a guy that can rebound the basketball. Even in that limited stint, he averaged 5 rebounds, or defensive rebounds, and 2.6 offensive rebounds. The Lakers could use that. Lakers could use Hassan Whiteside is a guy I was screaming for last season, and I kind of still wish the Lakers would have brought him in last season, but they ended up going with Tristan Thompson instead. Okay, I don't hate the idea of bringing in Hassan Whiteside. If he's willing to buy in, accept his role, and just, hey, give me 10 minutes a game, right? I think he's a guy that go get you 5 or 6 rebounds in that span. I really do. I mean, he's, out of all things, he's an excellent shot blocker and an excellent rebounder, right? So if he can come in and provide those two things for you, that's all you need. You just need somebody that can be a turn at the rim, he can play alongside Anthony Davis, rebound the basketball, block the occasional shot, right? And just be a rim pressure big. He'd be an upgraded Jackson Hayes, right? Everything we want Jackson Hayes to be, Hassan Whiteside would be that. I think Hassan Whiteside makes a lot of sense. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? Is there anyone else that I didn't put on this list that you're like, hey, go get this guy. I love this guy. No, again, I already feel whatever your thoughts are. I'd love to hear it, so let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. It helps me out a lot. Lets me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.